that. For example, RedSoft, by its name, it's a regional center to develop the educational programs. It's ideal for the Middle East to put the latest development. Is there something like that? Or is it just for your university only, the inventions that has been done, or the e-learning? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please.
My question is, like, moving from print to electronic environment faces a lot of challenges. My concern is about human resources, how you prepare them. What are the challenges you face when you change the culture? How you prepare the teachers and the student for facing these new challenges, or how long it takes to accept these new changes?
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
We'll take this last intervention, then we'll go. The floor will be public.
Actually, I'm for e-learning, but my concern is security. To make sure our experience from e-learning is students actually do cheat for doing assignments and homework and exams. So, I mean, how can we really solve this problem? This is our concern. Thank you.
Thank you. I think it will take another lecture to handle all these remarks, so please.
I could do some very quickly. Yes, we do have a research institute at Athabasca University called the Technology Enhanced Research Institute. It focuses on issues of using mobile devices on learning, changing new social software, using new social softwares. And yes, we do work internationally. We work with a lot of people in Taiwan, in mainland, in China, in Singapore, and so we've got a lot of partnerships throughout the world. We're also working closely with both IBM and Xerox in figuring out how both technology and software can work together. So we do a lot of that, and yes, we work internationally for people who are interested in that. There was another question on the traditional versus the virtual universities and the blended environment. I would say there isn't a university around anymore that wouldn't call itself blended in some way. There isn't a classroom generally without an ICT in it somewhere. Maybe a few, but I can't think of very many, even in the most traditionals. So I argue it shouldn't matter whether university is virtual, whether it's, quote, residential or classroom-based. What matters is what matters to the student. What's going to be most successful for the student learning outcome? And in some cultures, and there was a cultural question, in Canada, some of the indigenous cultures only learn face-to-face. So what do? When they want us in the community, we will go there and we will teach face-to-face, because that's the way they learn most effectively. On the other hand, we also work with these cultures because of cost structures to say, okay, do you want to try using ICTs? Will it be more effective? Can you help languages survive if you have, let's say, all the Cree people in Canada learning through ICTs because they're so dispersed? And then you start getting transformations beginning to happen. So it's all about transformation. Question about e-learning standards. Yes, there is an attempt internationally through the International Council of Distance Education to develop some standards, and there are. The Sloan Institute has standards. There's a whole bunch of standards. But I would argue, be careful of standards, because standards leads to many negotiations and ultimately leads to a vanilla solution. I believe that ICTs could be argued, I'm not going to enter that argument, to be culturally neutral. If they are culturally neutral, then each culture will determine how they should be used, and they use most effectively. So I'm personally not as keen on an international standard. Just like there aren't in residential schools, I'd rather have an international understanding of the differences that each culture might use and make sure they're transparent and understood. Then if students want to move between countries and continents, they'll figure out how to do it by getting the right degree from the right standards. Homogenization, which is the danger of the Internet, ought to be, I believe, avoided. The Internet also offers cultural diversity. So go for the diversity side in this. So yeah, we're working on quality standards internationally, but we're being very, very, very careful. The whole issue, which I think is of cheating is a lot of fun. But I've met there are more ingenious cheaters in residential universities. I can catch them easier in digital environments. In digital environments now, we can track virtually any cheater on any essay, know exactly where it comes from. All of our examinations are, in fact, at Athabasca, are still proctored. For example, in an isolated community in the high Arctic where we might have a student, the local policeman, the RCMP officer, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, will invigilate the examination, and a police officer, and they all have university degrees, they're very good invigilators. Now, we have an invigilation system across the entire country. It works. Abroad, we will send, if we can't have absolutely guarantee of appropriate invigilation, we send our own invigilators internationally as well. For example, to some countries where there is an awful lot of imagination by students on getting around systems. But I would say in residentials they do the same thing. So there's also what we're developing now in our research institute, and this will scare a lot of people. Can you actually develop a system using biometric authentication? Can you actually have a student at a remote location using a computer to actually write the exam in a very secure environment? Well, within about 3 years, I'll guarantee you we can do it. We're now working through all the problems within our research institute. So yeah, it can be done. So it's, I think people are too frightened. The reason that we see so much, I believe, so much more plagiarism and why we can catch it is because students are taking it off the internet or downloading it, but we can now catch them at every time. So do we use Turnitin? Yes, we do. Do we use all the other analytics? Yes, we do. I can tell you, have no more incidents of cheating than any of the other very traditional places. I think there was one other question, if I understood it right. It's the internet and digital environments for the use of perhaps more skill-based learning. Is that possible? Well, I always say if you can train nurses or educate nurses digitally and architects, yes, of course you can. But it's what is the mix? Are the practicums in the hospital done digitally? No, they're actually done physically because every one of our nurses has the same hours of practical attention that anyone else has. It's just anything in the classroom was done online. But where digital environments are changing health and health practice is today you will have a doctor with a PDA at a bedside with all the medical information. He will also have all the patient's drug history. He will know every physician that person ever saw, so you can now actually have more effective interventions using digital equipment. That means that the people you train have to be digitally literate, very digitally literate. Same with architecture. Everyone said, you can't possibly do architecture online. So do you realize that 90% of all drawings are now done online? Do you realize that virtually all drawings are shipped online from point A to point B? Do you realize that very little is done by pen to paper anymore? Everything is done digitally. So then why wouldn't you educate people in the environment in which they're going to work? Sure, they have to have practical experience. Yes, we do have a situation where they all have to work in an architect's office for X number of months and do certain kinds of things. But they're getting the experience in that digital environment, which traditionally trained architects will have difficulty which is again why we believe that we're offering a more future focus, driven by the students of the future. They are successors in this world, and they're the ones that are driving the new digital world. And it's just endless. I mean, it's really quite exciting.
Thanks again, Mr. Panikuk, and really we are pleased that you are here with us, and hopefully that you will continue in the next paper.
Yes.
Now I'll give the floor to Dr. Muna Abdulrahman from Egypt, a researcher, educator, and with a good expertise and deeply rooted knowledge in e-learning. So please, if you like to go to the podium. Do you have translation device or bring you one? You have translation? I think you are going to need translation.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بداية يسعدني ويشرفني تواجدي بين حضراتكم، والشكر موصول لإدارة المؤتمر ومنظميه. يحمل عنوان بحثي رؤية سوسيولوجية تحليلية لدور تكنولوجيا واقتصاديات المعلومات في تطوير المعرفة والتواصل في المجتمع العربي. ويدور هذا الموضوع حول نقاط أساسية، ألا وهي: مقدمة، أولاً إشكالية البحث، ثانياً أهداف البحث، ثالثاً تساؤلات البحث، رابعاً نحو إطار نظري للبحث، ويدور حول محورين أساسيين: أولاً تحديد مفاهيم البحث، ثانياً تحديد قضايا ومؤشرات البحث، خامساً الحلول المطروحة واستشرافة مستقبلية. في المقدمة تؤكد الباحثة على ضرورة معرفة واقعنا لإمكانية تغييره في إطار إمكاناتنا المادية واحتياجاتنا الأساسية وقدرتنا البشرية وأولوياتنا الضرورية وطموحاتنا المستقبلية، من منطلق أن ننحت لأنفسنا مكانا ونشق لتقدمنا طريقا على خريطة الاقتصاديات والمعلومات، وخاصة في المجتمع العربي، إذ أن مجال اقتصاديات المعلومات يعد مجالا خصبا وحديثا وعميقا، لأنه يجمع بين عدة علوم مختلفة، منها على سبيل المثال الاقتصاد والسياسة والوثائق والمعلومات والمكتبات والاتصال والأعلام والاجتماع والأنثروبولوجيا والإحصاء والجغرافيا والمستقبليات والأدب والفن والثقافة وكافة مناحي العلوم، وكل ما يتعلق بكل هذه العلوم من عمليات التحليل والتخطيط والإدارة والتنظيم والإنتاجية والميكنة واتخاذ القرار على المستوى النظري والتطبيقي. إن انتشار الاتصال الإعلامي والتفاعلات الثقافية والاتصالية عن طريق وسائل الاتصال والمعلومات الحديثة في المجتمع العربي عبر الشبكات التلفزيونية والفضائية والإنترنت يجعلنا نعيش في عصر التكنولوجيا المعرفية والثورة المعلوماتية بهدف دفع عجلة التنمية والتطور الاقتصادي والتغير الاجتماعي نحو الأفضل. ولا شك أن التغيرات المتلاحقة والتطورات المتسارعة في نوعية الحياة التي نعيشها في الألفية الثالثة ساعدت على زيادة حدة المنافسة في توليد المعرفة ونشر المعلومات المتوفرة وتخزينها واستخدامها بفاعلية وتوظيفها بكفاءة في كافة شؤون حياتنا. الأمر الذي يؤكد أن المعرفة لم تنشأ من فراغ، وإنما من خلال مجتمع معين له واقع محدد وسياق محلي وإقليمي